Hello and welcome back. My name is Asian. It is great to see all of you again. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that Xenoverse 3 is finally out, and it's time we talk about it some more. Now, we have some customization issues that we talked about last video that I could not fully address completely. The video would be an hour long, so I'm going to break them down into shorter videos. So this is another part of customization, but it's mainly based around the transformations themselves, and I lightly touched on them last time. This time specifically, I'm talking about the Frieza race transformations, the human race transformations, the Super Saiyan transformations, the Namekian transformation. I mean, every transformation that we should have in this game, we're going to cover in this video. I do have to say that the easiest way to fix the customization aspect for the Super Saiyans to make it, more definable, because it doesn't matter, like, none of these characters are going to be canon. The character that is canon is not your character, it's the character that you are portrayed as inside of the game when you get the game itself. He's the character that's doing all the cool stuff. Now, because that's the canon character, it doesn't matter if none of your characters are canon, because the character can still get the transformation and still have he wouldn't change the color of Super Saiyan. He wouldn't do that because he is the canon character. But you, as the non-canon character, you should have the freedom to be able to change whatever color, whatever type of aura. For instance, I feel like you don't have to change how the transformation works. Specifically speaking, you just have to change how it looks, the way you can customize its visuals. So you don't have to have a legendary Super Saiyan transformation, even though that'd be great. I'd like to have that. But how would you get that? How would you be worthy of being able to get that, access that? I mean, everybody has potential unleashed. Everybody has... My point is, instead of making a bunch of different transformations, what you do is you make all the transformations so customizable that it doesn't matter, because it looks exactly like the transformation you want. It might not do the same thing, but you can also work around that with other transformations. Specifically speaking, let's talk about the Frieza race transformation. You got this Frieza race transformation, and you have the gold transformation. I doubt that they're going to say, no, you can't get the black version, the black Frieza black. But the problem is it's called Frieza black. Gold, it's going to be black Frieza. Golden Frieza is what golden form is called. So if you get the golden form, why can't you just change the colors of it? Because when you get the black form, it's going to give you a different aura, a different style of aura, or at least it should. Something that isn't just a color grade change, because it's going to have God Key, or at least we think. It looks like it will. So why not be able to just change the colors of it? I talked last video in how you can do all of the, you should be able to lock in as a Frieza race. You should be able to lock in just like Frieza did and have 3 to 4 transformations, and you can choose second form, third form, final form, etc. Golden form, black form. But you should be able to customize those first 2 forms. They shouldn't look exactly like every other Frieza race. I'm not saying they shouldn't look similar, but you should be able to have some type of customization about it. I don't think that's real hard to ask for. Personally speaking, I think all you'd have to do is allow for a Frieza race character to have the option to customize the way he looks via forms that he has on our actual customization pools. There are a lot of Frieza race outfits that look like something a Frieza race character would wear, but we have to wear it as a specific outfit. And personally, that seems kind of wrong. That we can only wear it as specific outfits. Not that it's bad that we can do that, it's just I figured I'd be able to transform into that. But that's fine. I feel like that's what we should do on that end. Now, with what I was telling you about all the colors and stuff that we should be able to change, I feel like the auras and the transformations themselves should speak for themselves. So you shouldn't have to add any different transformations. We've got plenty at this point, except for a few. Now, when I say a few, I'm not talking about off-the-wall stuff. Immediately, the buff form Master Roshi comes up. Immediately, because that's what everybody thinks of. That's what I thought of. So I think that should definitely be a transformation for Earthlings. I think it should be exclusive to Earthlings. And with that, then you could also be able to make an alien looking race that looks alien, but he's actually an Earthling and can use the form, and you can make it look like it's an alien race, even though he fights like a male Saiyan. I mean, I'm sorry, a male Earthling. I'll get to that in another video. About fighting styles is a whole nother video. That's I have so many ideas. But the point is, not only do you have the buff form, they need to come up with 2 separate brand new transformations and add one that's already existing. So we've already talked about the buff male Earthling. Now we need to talk about the Zarbon race and how he can get the buff ugly form. That is a transformation that a lot of people would use. You could also use it in other transformations. Maybe you don't, in the Zarbon race you get uglier. I'm cool with that. It's just now you're looking at, is everybody going to look the same just with a different color palette? So you're going to have to make at least 10 different facial expressions with that. So I don't even know if they'd be able to do that. I mean, I think they could. I feel like they've got enough time. I just don't know if they've already implemented this stuff, and it's very hard to guess and hope that they have. So we're just talking about it because hopefully they already have done that. The Zarbon race would really be a cool race to have. Be able to change the color of it, make it a different type of race, give it some, costumes and stuff to make it not look like a Zarbon race, but it would be an alien race. So that would work as an alien race transformation as well. So you've got those 2 that are the known transformations, and I'm sure that anybody, please put it down below in the comments. Any transformation that I missed, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Now, the other 2 that they need to come up with is something new. Something we don't have, something that isn't crazy, but something like a male Earthling buff would get, but is solely to these specific alien races. Maybe make 2 different alien races that could be considered like a Frieza soldier race type of person. Not that they would have to be that low, it's just we are non-canon in this universe. So I feel like we should be able to have a bunch of different alien like features to these races outside of just looking like a Majin, a Frieza race, or a Namekian. Alright? So you've got those as well. I don't know exactly what they would entail. I just feel like they could do something like Kaioken, but maybe not quite as good. Because Kaioken you should be able to equip to that race anyway. So maybe make it better if you like conserving stamina compared to high output for attack. I don't know. I'm just saying it's something that they need to work on. It's something they need to have because it's not that there wasn't enough transformations. It's just there wasn't enough diversity in the transformations. Because, I mean, everybody has potential unleashed. Alright? Everybody has that. What else do the male Earthlings have? Nimbus? I'm sorry, but that's not a transformation. That's a cop. I think they need to get rid of Nimbus. I mean, if they keep it, cool. I mean, the mechanics changed from Xeno 1 to Xeno 2, so I'm sure they are going to change again. Yeah, I say get rid of the Nimbus, and I say give them the buff Earthling form. I also feel like you should have like a Tien race, alright? I mean, Tien has his own race of people because he's a halfling. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. I may be talking out my butt, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed. Somebody check me on that in the comment section. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, the main thing is whatever transformations that they do actually give us, let it be viable. I mean, we need more, more diversity in races and transformations as it is. So the easiest way is to just add a couple new transformations for a couple new races, and then you allow us to change the color palette of the transformation's aura, and if our hair changes, let us change the color of our hair that it changes it to. I don't see what the problem is with that. Then you wouldn't even have to add rose. You could just keep blue in there, and then people just turn blue into pink. I'm just telling you. To me, that's a simple fix. But I don't want to prattle on too long and talk a bunch of nonsense. I just wanted y'all to know where I stood on that. And that's what we need for these transformations. Color coding needs to be better. We need to be able to access the color shades and we need the visual customization. We're not too picky on what it does to us. I can talk about fighting styles for different transformations in a later video, but my point being that we just need to be able to access the visual aesthetics of it, and I think you'll make the entire community happy. So for all of you that have watched this video, thank y'all for watching. If you ain't subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and like the video already if you hadn't.